Hi guys, it's Dakota. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the Hallowed Cauldron. Um, we have been working on a 7-part series for Chakra Spellwork. We are on chakra number 7 today, so we are actually on the last chakra today. Now, if you haven't been following, and this is your first your first video that you're watching, you might want to go back to the Chakra Series Part 1 Root, because I give a little more information in there about what we're doing, and not only that, but it's raining. But not only that, but when we are aligning or balancing the chakras, typically we start with the root chakra. That is the first chakra that you start with to align and get it open. So this is a 7-part series. We are on the last one today. So again, for more information, you might want to check that, or a little more insight, you might want to check that one. And then you can follow along. And I hope everybody that is following along, I've got some really sweet messages and a few comments, just beautiful, lovely comments, and even some pictures of those who are doing the spell work. And it just makes me feel all giddy inside. Yeah, I know. But anyway, so before we start with the last chakra, what I wanted to share with you today, last week, as you know, we did the third eye chakra, which is right there between the brow. And we used the plant called Rose of Jericho. Now, it's known by many other names. It's called the resurrection plant. I've heard it called the dinosaur plant, the plant of stone. There's all different kinds of names out there. And then you have its Latin name, or whatever language that is. I think it's Latin name for it, or I don't know what name that is. But I can't pronounce it. I know that for sure. I gave a couple of attempts last week and it didn't work out. All right. But anyway, when I order these for my store, so I don't want a whole bunch of debates about, oh, that's not the right name. I get that it may or it may not be. What I can tell you is that when I order these for the store, because I do carry them in the store, they are listed on their website as Rose of Jericho. So that's what I order, and that's what we call them at the store. So I'm just letting you know. It could be something else, but that's what we're going with. All right. So last week, I made the mistake of thinking that if I put my flower in the water about 3 or 4 hours before I did my video, that the flower would be open all the way. Well, it was not. And we went ahead and did the video anyway. And I did the best with showing you and telling you what was going to happen. But what I did afterwards was, and you can probably tell from the pictures that I have included in the video, and those are either in the beginning of the video or at the end, because right now I haven't added them, so I'm not sure where they're going to be. But after the video, I went ahead and I continued to let the flower sit in the water overnight, and the next morning it was open all the way. It was beautiful. And I redid, like I said, I redid the petition. When I am doing spell work with you, when I am showing different spells, different magical things, I don't give you my own personal work. That was my personal work. That is what I was doing. I was doing that spell with using the Jericho rose. However, when I wrote my petition, it was specifically to show you in the video what I'm going to be doing and what you can do. So after the flower opened all the way the next day, I rewrote the petition in my own words, what I wanted to say in regards to my third eye. I did use the lapis lazuli that you saw in the video. And then what I did was I took the flower out of the water and I let it dry. It took about 3 days, 2 or 3 days. I let it dry for 2 days before I felt like it was completely sealed. And I did take the water and I bottled it, and I will be using that at a later date for whatever it is that I want to do in regards to third eye. So if you want to, with that water, you can do anything. You can cleanse your stones if you want, if you're using them for divination. You can take a little bit of droplets and sprinkle them around your sacred area if you want, when you're using it for intuition and divination and all the things that we talked about. So what I wanted to do before I start the last chakra today is, this is the end result of the rose. So this is what it looks like. Now, let me, I don't really want to open, oh gosh, I can't even see it. I don't want to open it all the way. Okay, I see you. But I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. But, oh, you see the little blue up there? There it is. There's my lapis with my petition all sealed up, completely sealed up in my rose. And so what I'm going to do is, right now I have an altar over here that I have put all of our spell work onto, with the exception of the root chakra, because I had to do something else with that based on what I did in my own personal spell with it. But all of the other spells are on the little altar over there. Let me see if I can show you quickly. Oh, over there by my chakra goddess statue. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to complete the series, complete the alignment by setting my rose over there on the altar. And when I get done, I'm probably going to do a little gratitude. I'm going to refocus on each one of the chakras and send that energy into everything that is still left over there. And when it's done, all of the candles, any candle that didn't burn down completely, I'm not going to relight it. It's done. And I'm just kind of infusing it with my gratitude, and then I will get rid of, dispose of, there's the word. I will dispose of all the ingredients that I used. All of them, with the exception of a few of the stones that I use for the gridding. Those don't get buried. Those are stones that I actually use for gridding. But the candles and the herbs, now the candles, because they were the little chime paraffin candles, I don't bury those. I will probably burn them out in a bonfire, or probably in my outdoor little medium-sized cauldron out there, and let that burn out. But everything else will get buried. The herbs will just get sprinkled into the little garden that I have out here. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's what's going to happen with my spell, with my rose of Jericho. It's done. I'm going to put it over there when we're done here, and all is done. Okay. All right. So today, what are we talking about? Today we're going to be talking about the last chakra in our series, which is our crown chakra. And the crown chakra is right at the very top of your head. It is that soft spot, kind of like where, when we were born, we have that soft spot. And that sort of always gives me that kind of moment, like, that's interesting that we're born with a soft spot at our crown chakra. Interesting to think about that. Why is it soft? And I know the science and blah, 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 all of that stuff. But on a spiritual level, why is that left soft when you come out of the womb? Anyway, something to think about. All right. I'm getting my notes here so that I don't get too far off track, because I'm going to show you the final spell work that we're going to do. All right. So the crown chakra is where we can, this is where we get our enlightenment. This is where the spiritual messages enter, whether it is from a spirit guide, from ancestors, from deity, from divine, from source, from God, from whatever label, whatever title you want to put, higher power, whatever word you like to use. This is where it enters. It enters through our crown chakra. So this is where we get our enlightenment. This is where we get our that those divine messages that come in, that spiritual awareness, those times when you get that, you may have read a book, or you may have been talking to somebody, and or anything, and all of a sudden you get that aha moment. That's coming down through that crown chakra, and it may be interacting or activating your other chakras. However, it has to have a place to enter, and that is through the crown chakra. So we really, really need that crown chakra to be aligned. If you are any type of spiritual practitioner, if you are a healer, if you do divination, tarot, runes, tea leaf reading, scrying, anything like that, and again, Reiki, or even as a healer, if you are the practitioner that is working on clients, it's so important to have that third eye that crown chakra open, because that's where it's coming through. That's where the message is coming through. That's where that divine energy is coming in. It has to have a place to come in. Now, so we want that open. We want it open, and we want it aligned, and we want it balanced. Not only for the things coming in, but when we're doing spell work and we're doing things, there's a lot of releasing that people do, myself included. I'm releasing energy that doesn't serve my highest good, regardless of what it is. It could be, ran into a nasty person, or felt some road rage, or, I planted all these seeds and none of them grew. Frustrations, just anything like that. The kids are driving me crazy. Any kind of thing that is not serving your highest good. We all have it, and we pretty much have it every day. There's always something every day that pushes that trigger. And so if that builds up, once that builds up, when we talked about all the other chakras being unbalanced, not being aligned, being blocked, it causes more anxiety, it causes more stress, and eventually it can lead to physical complications, ulcers, mental depression, anxiety, phobias, things like that. So it's just so important to not only think of just one chakra when, I was trying to do this and I knew it was my crown chakra. Well, that could be, but it doesn't mean just only work with the crown chakra. Now you can, but it doesn't mean that that's what you should do, like pick and choose your chakras. You really need to pick a time when you can open up and align all the chakras at the same time. But I have just chosen one chakra that I knew was like whack and said, okay, I really need to work on this right this second because it was really causing me some issues, and then I would work on it. However, that's not really that helpful if you have a lot of other chakras that are blocked. So you have to remember that. So if you have something you're trying to releasing those energies that don't serve my highest good, where's it going to release if your crown chakra isn't open? It has to be open so that you can send that out to the universe. Okay? So that crown chakra, I have said this with every chakra. It's super important to have that aligned, opened, and balanced, as is the third eye, as is the throat, all of that, okay? So it's just as important. All right, now that the crown chakra also resonates with our magic and with the mysteries of magic, especially in witchcraft. There is a mystery of how the energies work. And if you've done any classes where we talk about the science of witchcraft, all of those subjects, and understand how it works, that crown chakra, there you go. I want to be open to the mysteries of the magic. If I can't commune with what it is or who it is, or whether it's universal or whether it's deity or whether it's spirit guide, if I'm not able to commune with them, then why am I bothering doing this magic? Chances are it's not going to be a successful spell. So I want to make sure that I am open to what it is that I'm doing. It's, it's just, it's part of where your power is, it's part of that will. And if you don't know what that is, then you need to study that, and study all the chakras anyway. If you're planning on doing spell work for the chakras, you better understand the chakras. And I mention this in all of my videos because I'm not going deep into the chakras because it takes too much time. There's a lot of reputable videos out there. I mentioned David Pond every video. He has a great book on the chakras, as does, can't think of her name, but her book is Wheels of Life. It's a thicker book, goes deeper into the spiritual powers of the chakra and different things that you can do with each of the chakras. So there you go. But you don't just do spell work if you don't know what you're doing or why you're even doing it. Oh, I want this open, so I'm going to do this. Okay, well, good luck with that, and maybe it will work. I'm not saying that it won't. I'm just saying that the more you know, the better chances you have of things working out for you. All right, so when it is unbalanced, then a lot of times the things that you do become ego influenced. I'm a witch, so I know. I'm a this, so I know. I read the book, so I know. Well, maybe you do. Perhaps that you do. But if you come at it, and if you come at others from an ego standpoint, then I think you might need to work on your crown chakra. You actually might need to do some shadow work with that, which is another video that I plan on doing. But yeah, ego driven. I'm this. I took a class on this. I'm a this. I'm a that. Okay. Okay. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad for you, and I'm happy for you. So an unbalanced, ego influenced, unsure of yourself, which is, and not only unsure of yourself, but a lack of self-confidence. And a lot of times when that happens, we become ego driven. And that's not to say that I've never done it, because I have, because we're human and we all do it. So, but that's where it's coming from. This is what I'm saying. This is when it's not balanced and it's not aligned. So you need to check yourself. You need to check yourself. When it is balanced, when the crown chakra is balanced, then you are released from that ego. You're released from that idea that you have to convince people that you are a witch, that you know witchcraft. I mean, okay, that's awesome. You know, but that's good. That's good. I'm not going to go there. That's good. Okay. So anyway, and then some of the other things, like you can get depressed, and that can cause, you can get migraines from that crown chakra being blocked. So it's, again, it's really important for it to be open and aligned. All right, some of the stones that are good, that helps with the crown chakra. If we talked about, remember we talked about the third eye chakra, and we talked about that was the indigo stones, but one of the stones that we did talk about was amethyst. Well, that is a stone as well for some people, for their crown chakra, because the color for the crown chakra is violet. It is violet. So amethyst is violet, purpley color. However, I just want to say that I actually prefer to use the whiter stones, or the clearer stones, quartz crystal. I love using moonstone. I'm trying to connect with ancestors, deities, spirit guides. Moonstone is a great stone to connect with the gods, the goddesses specifically. And so I love working the crown chakra with moonstone. Selenite is another good stone to use for that. And again, the purple stones, purple fluorite is really a great stone to use for the crown chakra in healing. Fluorite is a really great healer. So your purple fluorite is a really good stone. And you can use amethyst for the crown chakra. It is one of the big stones that is recommended, but it is also a stone that is recommended for your third eye. So there you go. You're going to have to experiment with them and see which one resonates with you, see which one works for you, which one you like the best. I experiment with all different kinds of stones, like I told you with the third eye. So those are some of the stones. Some of the foods, okay, your purple foods, and we talked a little bit about that with the third eye, because those two colors are very, very close. I mean, it is, your third eye is indigo, but which is a purple blue, and then the crown chakra, more of a, a purple. It's that sacred flame, that violet flame. But I like to take it one step further, and I like to move into the clear quartz stones myself. But again, your purpley kind of foods, you could use cabbage, you could use the purple grapes, things that we talked about, the blackberries, things that we talked about. For third eye, a lot of those foods are similar for the crown chakra as well. Oils that would help with that are cinnamon, clove, peppermint. Again, now those are pretty strong smelling stones, so you want to be careful. They have a tendency to kind of ignite, which is what we're trying to do. So I would experiment with that before you actually put the oil right directly on your crown. Might be too much. You could put it in an herb in a little baggie, or an oil in a little baggie, like the little tea bags that I use, the little muslin bags that I use for my tea. I also use them for dreams, or for putting under the pillow for dreams. Put your herbs in here and put that under. These are better than like the velvet or the velveteen bags, because those are so thick, like you can't hardly smell. But these are pretty open, so those work really good. I'm talking fast because I can see the time. All right, and then the herbs. Lavender is a huge herb to use for the crown chakra. It's a very sacred herb. It smells divine. I love lavender. However, what I like, and some of the others, like I said, the peppermint, cinnamon, cloves, you could use those, anise, those types of herbs, you could use as well. I prefer, because I'm doing spell work, I'm not this is spell work for the chakras. So this isn't, and through the spell work, I am opening the chakras, but because it's spell, I'm actually incorporating spell work into it through my petitions or through my thought process. So I'm asking the crown chakra to be aligned, to be balanced, to be opened so that XYZ, right? I put in my petition. So I like to use herbs that are commonly used, at least for me. I commonly use these for divination purposes. Mugwort, Damiana, what's the other one I use? Wormwood, those types of herbs that I use for divination are the herbs that I like to use as well. All right. I found this little quote. It wasn't really a quote. I don't even know where I got this. It was written in, actually in one of my journals, my mini journals. But it said the chakras are a lot like a pot of water that is boiling. If there is a huge difference between boiling water that is simmering, that is just consistent, and a raging boil. There's a difference. What we want is consistency. So, as I said, the chakras can be unaligned and unbalanced. They can be aligned and balanced, and they can be over out there, as I told you with my throat chakra. So it's very, very important to keep them all aligned, especially when you're doing spell work, which we're going to do right now. And I'm going to put you on pause. Going to move over to the work table because I need that space, and we'll be right back. Speaking of mugwort, that is what I'm going to use for my tea. I am taking, now I am not suggesting that anybody drink or consume any herb whatsoever without consulting your doctor or really doing your research, because there are a lot of teas out there, a lot of herbs out there that are extremely toxic to consume. And especially if you think about it, if you have an allergy or you're taking a specific if you're taking medicine or supplements or any kind of thing like that, you have to really be careful what you do with the herbs. So I never tell you to go ahead and make you some tea with this particular herb. Mugwort is fairly safe. However, too much of it, it can create issues. So, all right, I have decided, not decided, but you know that I use fire almost in everything that I do. And today is a fire spell. It actually is a fire spell. But what I did was, the first thing I wanted to do, this is not the spell, however, it is part of my spell. So I have already carved into my candle my petition, my intentions. And then I used an oil to dress it. I did use my ancestor oil to dress the candle. And then, as you can see, hopefully, I rolled it in, I'm going to move it just a little, I'm not going to move it there. It's too close to my thing. I actually rolled it in Damiana. That's what I rolled it in. And what Damiana does is it helps to increase magical energy, divination, that type of thing. All right, so, all right. We're going to start with a little cauldron. I don't care what size you use. I'm using this one. It's very, it's small. It's probably a 3-inch in diameter, little, oh, that's bigger than 3 inches, whatever. There it is. It's just a little tiny cauldron. And what you're going to need is Epsom salt. Epsom salt. This is just plain old Epsom salt. And you're going to use about however much you want. I'm going to use, let's see, this is a teaspoon. I'm going to use, if I can get it. Well, you know what? I don't measure, so I don't really know what to tell you as far as measurements. I think it's 2 parts salt to 1 part whatever I'm going to show you here in a second. All right, so I'm just putting the Epsom salt in there, and you know, I did put a little bit more than probably I should, but that's how much salt I put. It's probably about a little over a tablespoon of, it might be 2 tablespoons, I don't know, of salt. Now, I haven't done this before, but I'm going to this time because I want to experiment with something. I'm back to the Damiana. I mean a small little pinch, just a small, tiny, tiny, tiny pinch of Damiana. And also, I want to use my wormwood, which is right here in this pretty big bag because I use a lot of wormwood. And I mean, I am using barely even a pinch. It's just a tiny little bit of herb in there. All right, and then I'm going to take rubbing alcohol. It's just rubbing alcohol. This is 70% rubbing alcohol. Probably shouldn't be doing this during the days of when we have to be sanitizing everything, and alcohol sometimes is really hard to get. But I have a stockpile here at the house because I use alcohol a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the alcohol on top of the salt. You only want it to be covering the salt. You don't want to fill this whole cauldron full of alcohol. Just enough to cover the salt, and I put just a little tiny bit more over the salt. So there's just a tiny little bit over the salt. I mean, tiny little bit. And because I'm using Florida water. I'm using a splash. That's a splash. That's called a splash. When we measure, that's called a splash. As you can see, I'm not real big into measuring. It's what feels right to you. You know, it's just what feels right to you. All right. Now, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my candle, my working candle. I'm going to light it. I'm not going to light it from this candle because this candle is already working. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to light my cauldron. All right. As it's burning, I'm going to say an intention, or I'm going to ask for my petition. I'm going to ask for what it is that I want. Not only do I want my crown chakra to be aligned, to be balanced, and to be open, but I want it to be able to receive divine messages from spirit guide, deity, ancestors, whatever you would like. Then, I don't know if you could see that or not. I can't put this real close, but it is just a little dab of special stuff. I'm going to do it again. I ask for enlightenment. I ask for heightened intuition, whatever it is that you would like to ask for. You should have been able to see the color change of the flame. From this yellowy violet down at the bottom to almost a green color. Again, I'm going to do this 3 times because you know I work in 3s. I ask for divine guidance and just whatever words you want to put. Now, you may be wondering, am I doing this inside the cottage? Yes, I am. There is no smoke because the alcohol, there's no smoke. So you can do this indoors. However, I would probably have done this outdoors except for it's raining. I wanted to do the video yesterday, but it was raining. It has rained for 2 days straight. So I know that there's no smoke, and I tested it yesterday. It tested fine, so I'm doing it here in the cottage. I would highly recommend that you have water. I still have water. Do not do this unless you have something to extinguish the flame in case this were to get out of control. Now, I hope you can see this. I hope that you can see, I can't pick it up because it is hot. I hope that you can see the different color flames at the bottom, shooting up to the top. And that is my magic. That is my magic. This is going to burn out shortly. You can see it's starting to burn out. Poof. Just like that, it's gone. Just like that, it's gone. This is very hot. Very hot. What I suggest that you do is you're going to want to, I mean, it is very hot. I can see the salt in there just boiling. The salt gets very hard when it dries, but it's salt. So all you have to do is put water in it and it will wash out fairly easily. So, but what I like to do is once this gets cool enough to hold, I might use a pot holder or something. I like to scoop the salt out because I don't really like to wash my cauldrons. Pardon me. So that is it. Salt, alcohol, that's all you need. I add the Florida water because it's what I do. About 2 tablespoons of salt. You're going to take your rubbing alcohol and you're going to pour it on gently onto your salt so that it's just barely covering the salt. Not an inch above it, not a half an inch above it, just barely above your salt. And then you just light it. You can see it was not an explosion. It lights very softly. The flame is pretty hot, gets very, very hot. And then you just let it burn out. It will burn itself out. There's no smoke. You can add your 3. I wanted to try the herbs. Now the herbs did not affect it whatsoever. I'm happy to hear that. So now you can add herbs if you want with each of your intentions or your affirmations or your petitions, whatever it is, your blessings, a prayer, a chant, whatever it is. My crown chakra is now open. Poof, throw your just a little pinch in there and let it go. I'm going to keep you guessing on my colored flames there. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out. And you're just going to let it burn out. When this is done, I'm probably going to find a spot in the yard where it's just dirt, where there are no plants, because it is salt and I don't want it to kill any of my plants. And that's all there is to it. And so that is literally, that completes the crown chakra. It's very easy. So now all of your chakras are covered with spells. Now, as I told you, this video is so long, I apologize. As I told you, probably in the first video or the second, one of the videos or a couple of the videos, that I have something else that I want to add to the chakras. I don't have time today. I've gone way too long. I do apologize for that. And so I think what I'm going to do is next week, it's going to be part 8, the conclusion, because there's just a few things that I want to add to this. But if you don't see it, then I've changed my mind and I've decided that it's something that can wait till a later date. And that's it. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment at the bottom. Here's the thing with leaving a comment. One is, I know you've watched the video, which helps me to know, should I do something like this again? Not on the chakras, of course, but did you enjoy it? Have you tried it? Do you have a question that I can answer? Is there something that you do that you want to share in regards to this? That's sort of how we can communicate here in the world of YouTube, and this is how we grow together. We share ideas, we network, we support each other, and that's it. Get ideas from each other, and that's what helps grow your path. That's what helps grow your path. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. This is the conclusion of the 7 chakras. And what I will do is I'm going to set my spell candle, which I just did on the side. It was something that I wanted to do. Had nothing to do with my cauldron burn. Hallowed cauldron. But it's something in addition that I wanted to do. So I'm going to set this over with the rest of the chakras on that little altar I showed you, and then and let it burn out. And I feel good with everything that I've done for the chakras. So I may or may not be back next week for part 8, which I promise you, I swear to you, is not going to be anywhere near this length of video, because I just want to finish up with a few words. All right, that's all I have to say. I'm very sorry that it was so long. I hope you have enjoyed the series. The only way that I will know that is if you please leave me a comment, subscribe. I like seeing my numbers go up. They're starting to go up. It's good. I don't ever really rarely look at it, but actually my husband mentioned it to me and I went, oh yeah, cool. So leave the comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Someone mentioned that they weren't getting my videos. They weren't getting them, that they had subscribed, but they weren't getting them. Here's why. There's a little bell, looks like a little bell somewhere down there by the subscribe button or the thumbs up, thumbs down button. There's a little tiny bell. You need to hit that bell. That way you'll get notifications when we post, okay? All right, guys. Have a great week. Enjoy it. Leave your comments below, questions. I'd be happy to interact with you. Thanks. Bye.